Hey, it is Dr. Kre, and we're here for another edition of the Dr. Kre and Me show. I am running around tonight, but I did not want to miss the Dr. Kre and Me segment tonight because it's on something that is very important. Hey, Ray. Tonight we're going to be talking about pediatric suicide, which, oddly enough, is actually on the rise. It seems like I've been hearing about it more and more lately. Hey, Tanya. Welcome to the Dr. Kre and Me show. We are going to start in another minute or two. And we're going to talk about some of these things that's going around. Hey, Sam. Going on as far as pediatric suicide goes on. Yes, it's happening. And it's happening probably more often than you guys realize. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Amber. So, and it's strange. I feel like it's strange. It is, yeah, it's different. So we get started in about 2 minutes. Make sure to put in the post where you are watching from. Thank you so much for watching. I missed you guys last Monday, but it was Zoe's birthday. Zoe turned 4. And we had Zoe's day. She wanted chicken and waffles and ice cream. Oh, I'm sure. So we'll have to catch up on it. But I think that it's important to know that this is going on out there, and that there are certain signs that we need to be looking for in our kids, especially if you have teenagers. So it's 7:02. Sitting in my car. I'm not in front of my amazing board like usual because I've been running errands. But I didn't want to miss the show. So you know who I am. I'm Dr. Kre. I'm a board certified family medicine physician, and I specialize in what's important to you. Through my miraculous and wonderful practice, Brownstone, my telehealth, my concierge medicine, and my book, I help you learn to live a healthier, happier, more whole life. And today we're going to talk about pediatric suicide. Are you in your car too? Hold on, let me turn the radio off. We're going to talk about pediatric suicide. So I've been hearing a lot. And actually, I'll back up and say I've been having seeing a lot of younger kids with more anxiety, depression. When I say younger, I mean like teenage kids, 16, 17, 18 years old, even younger, with a lot of anxiety, a lot of depressive symptoms. And I've been amazed that this is starting to show up, I feel like, more frequently than when I was younger, or when I was a teenager. I don't remember, kids being on medicine and stuff like that. I know now a lot of kids are on ADHD medicine. A lot of kids are on anxiety medicine. A lot of kids are seeing therapists, not necessarily for, major illnesses, but for the likes of just being anxious, very anxious kids, teenagers and preteens nowadays, which is a shock because I'm wondering are we giving them the coping mechanisms that they need to cope, or are we teaching them that we have to pull, to a drug, not a non-prescription drug, but even a prescription drug as a way out. So I don't have a bunch of bullet points tonight, but I wanted to share some of the things that I learned. Hey, Reverend Eva, I wanted to share some things that I learned on pediatric suicide. So the first thing that amazed me, I heard of a 16-year-old kid in California that recently killed himself. He was a baseball player, athlete, honor student. And he wrote a series of 3 letters leading up to his death, saying, like, don't blame this on my parents. I had great parents. Don't blame this on my coach. However, he placed a lot of the blame on his teachers. Like, I think the big thing that I took away was he felt like it was a lot of added pressure on him. He said in his school, it was not a private school, it was a public school. And that he felt like if you didn't go to college, that you were going to be looked down upon. You were going to be ostracized. So it was a lot of pressure. They go to baseball practice until about 6:30. And then do 4 or 5 hours of homework. That's a lot of work. I mean, that's a lot. and that was just the normal for them. And so he said that he felt like they were being prepared for illy, or as best they could, for standardized tests to have to deal with. Now I know in Alabama we're dealing with the report cards and the passing and the failing, where you think that you're studying your hardest, and then you get a report and say, hey, your school failed. So he was like, he felt like he had all of this undue pressure on him placed by the school. They give him all these things to study for, then the test wouldn't be on that. So he's up stressing about that. So we got a rising kid, an awesome child that goes and says he doesn't see any way out of this, no way to cope with it, because he is so, like, he wasn't really depressed. He just said he felt like he had no other choice but to take his own life, because what was being asked of him, he felt like was too much. So we have to be mindful that there are expectations that we have on our kids, and every so often we probably need to kind of step back and say, are these realistic expectations? Are they appropriate expectations? Are they too much? Or is your child able to receive that kind of criticism? Because every child doesn't receive criticism the same way. So number one, if we had to have points, number one would be extra added pressure on them by society. We're not even talking about bullying. We're just talking about the everyday wear and tear of trying to juggle good grades, trying to juggle sports, trying to juggle all these things and still make everyone proud. So let's make sure that we are watching how we portray or perpetrate our expectations on our kids. So feeling like they have overly expectations or heavier expectations on them. The second one is, I recently seen on the news about, hey Miranda, is the Tide Pod challenge. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that one, but it is where, hey Angela, it is where the kids actually are challenged to take a pod detergent, and they actually have to film themselves biting into the pod detergent. Of course, the detergent is a poison. So they bite into it. They're either supposed to show proof that they bit into it by opening their mouth, spitting it out, or swallowing it. So we end up having to call poison control. Can somebody look up the poison control number? We do need to write that in the comments. It's a 1-800 number, and I'm not sure if it's different by state. But if you have teenagers, make sure that you write the number to poison control down and leave it on your refrigerator. So we need to find the number to poison control. So extra added pressure on them. Number 2, there's this Tide Pod challenge. So the kids end up biting into the dish detergent, swallowing it, because now they got all these YouTube hits, Facebook likes, Instagram likes. So now in this day and age, a lot of the pressure that kids are feeling is based on the likes, the popularity, and not if it makes sense or not. So that's something that you need to be mindful to tell your kids. Don't eat anything. Don't put nothing in your mouth. You don't have to brag about what you're eating. If we didn't buy it and it's not normally consumed in this house, don't go out and eat it. So they had stuff like the water challenge, where they was drinking all gallons of water, not really realizing that, if you drink enough water, that can actually harm you as well. So the added pressure, Tide Pods challenge. The third one that I heard of, and I was like, good Lord, the hang yourself and pass out challenge. Well, the kids are finding where they go and hang themselves and are expecting to get a high from having a lack of oxygen. Well, they're not thinking about have this lack of oxygen, that you are having a lack of oxygen, passing out and even dying. Hi, Miss Keisa. So I've seen recently where a 6-year-old kid died from doing this hangman and pass out challenge. So they actually hang themselves, get this loopy feeling. Thank you. Shioki just posted the poison control numbers, 1-800-222-1222. So they get high off of the lack of oxygen and forget that the lack of oxygen can cause you to pass out. Thank you, Keisa. So we'll have to be mindful that if your child, if they hoarding all their covers, You can't find any belts. You have to be mindful that they could be doing something. These are all things that we need to be looking for signs in our teenagers. Signs that they are isolated more. Signs that, nowadays kids are doing more than just let me go cut myself and, cutting and attention seeking. They are doing this for attention, but they're doing it for attention on social media so everybody else can see it. So you got all these documented teenage deaths because it started off as a game. So watch for signs. These are some signs that we need to watch for our kids. We need to watch for being more isolated. Watch them for watch their social media. If you allow them to be on social media, see who their friends are, see what their friends are doing. Because if all their friends doing is challenges all day and night and all day long, then that's something to be concerned about. And know that, yes, number 4, of course, is bullying. Kids are killing themselves left and right because they felt overwhelmingly bullied at school by the extra child or by the little bitty kids bullied too. The shortest one in the class and the biggest one in the class. You never can tell which one of those are the bully. So whenever I see kids for their child visit, I always ask them, are you being bullied? And they're like, no, I'm not being bullied. I'm like, well, are you the bully? Because I just need to know. So you have to be asking, you have to have those hard conversations with your kids and say, have you ever heard of this? Or have you ever heard of that? Because you will rather them to hear X, Y, Z from you than you would from their peers. And it sounds exciting and intriguing when they hear from their peers. And, that way you can say, look, if they talking about this at school, you don't need to be involved in it. So number 1, extra added pressure from school and from their surroundings and from performing. I don't know that they're necessarily built like kids were before. Just be mindful of the kind of kids you have. If you got a strong-willed child, if you got a mild temperamented child, and you balance your teaching styles or your rearing styles based on that, because everything doesn't work with the same for every kid. So 1, watch and see their school dynamic, how the teachers treat them, how their peers treat them, extra added pressure, how they deal with pressure. Because these are the kids that's going to have irritable bowel syndrome. They're going to have, overly anxious. They're going to want to miss a lot of school sometimes because they can't get themselves together. So they're constipated, diarrhea. Whenever I see teenagers and they come in with issues like that, I'm like, what are we missing? I need to ask your mama to leave so that we can talk about what we're missing. Because we can do $1 million workup on a teenager and it comes down to something like this. So 1, extra added pressure. 2, the Tide Pod challenge, where they bite into the Tide Pods, either showing proof that they ate it, or spitting it out. The hangman to pass out challenge, where they are hanging themselves, getting high or that euphoric feeling from the lack of oxygen, and either passing out and never waking up or passing out. And then be mindful of bullying that's going on. Is your child a bully or are they being bullied? Everybody's kid doesn't fit in either category, but just know that these are conversations that we have to have. Watch for isolation. Watch for them wearing long sleeve shirts in the middle of summertime. Are they cutting themselves? Are they hoarding the covers, the belts, laces, things like that they can hurt themselves? We have to make sure that we're paying a lot of more attention. I know as parents we may work late hours, but it's our job to cover our children. We need to be watching them closely. We need to really be watching and see, like, oh, she wasn't doing that last year. What's going on? Is this puberty? Is this not puberty? Who are your child's friends? Who are your child's friends' parents? What is okay for them? What's going on their social media? Learn about all the social media. There's Tumblr, there's Snapchat, there's Facebook, there's Pinterest, there's Instagram, there is, I know I'm missing some. What's the one that starts with a P and they watching it's like a little video too. I can't think of what's the one that starts with a P and they do videos and people watch. It's not as popular anymore, but Foot, I cannot think about how you doing. I cannot think of the name of that other social media that kids use a lot. But Snapchat is really, really, really big, and you're supposed to only have access to it for 24 hours, and it goes away. So your kids could be doing strange things, crazy things, and you not know it, recorded on Snapchat, and then there's no proof of it. So watch your kids, love extra hard on your kids. Yeah, it's not a podcast. When I think of it, I'll put it back on here. I cannot think of the name of that. So just be mindful of this, that this is something that's going on, is really on the rise, and it's up to us to be our children's advocate. Hey, Doris. That's the big things. That's it. This wasn't much of a big deal tonight, other than wanting to educate you guys on what's going on out there. So number one, watch for extra added pressure in places you don't really realize that your child is feeling added pressure. 2, these Tide Pod challenges. 3, the hangman pass out challenge. 4, bullying. All of this is real, guys. We don't want to be burying kids before their time because they're out here thinking they're doing something that's having fun, and they're not having fun. So watch your kids, love on them a little bit harder, and be mindful that this is American Heart Association month. It's February. So at the end of the month, I'm going to do a video with Miss Keisha K Hoops. She's on here. She has an awesome story to share, and we're going to talk about her story as with heart disease, and learn about her story and what we can learn. So I'm excited about that. We're going to get together a firm date. So add your friends, pass this one along. This is really just informative tonight. But you know who I am. I'm Dr. Kre. I'm a board-certified family medicine physician, and I specialize in what's important to you through my one-on-one tips, my practice, my telemedicine, my concierge practice. I help you learn to live healthy, happier lives. And remember, my book is out. Go pick it up, 10 Commandments of the Working Wife. The actual book launch is on February 13th at noon Central Standard Time. If you're interested in coming to the virtual book launch, drop your email address in here and I'll get you an invitation. Can't wait to share it with you. Buy your pre-sale book. It's $14.99. And that is 10 Commandments of the Working Wife. See you soon. See you next Monday. You guys have a great one, and I will drop the link in the post as well. Have a good night. Love on your kids. Bye.